Hi, this is Beth from Around the Table Yarns. Tonight is our third session for Sock Club, the first Sock Club of 2025. We're doing the Amber socks from Veera Välimäki, and we're going to be doing the toes today. And I'm going to go off script. So the toes for the sock are using the simple toe, and we're going to be just showing an alternative method, which is the barn toe. So hang on for just a sec. So I just want to zoom in and show, let me get that out of the way. The toe that the sock is written with is the simple toe. And this is just a just see if I can, we love that big shadow in the way. Okay. So we're looking at the simple toe here, and you can see that there are two rows. So you work a row and you work a decrease row and you work a row and then you work a decrease row and you work a row and you work a decrease row until there's 12 stitches left on each needle. And that gives you this sort of parallelogram or trapezoidal toe. And some people for many people that's fine, but I would like to have you consider doing the barn toe. And it's called the barn toe because the shaping of it is like the shaping of the top of a barn. And so so called because it is similar in shape to the roof of a barn. And that is just a really nice toe shaping, and it also means that you don't have to graft the last few stitches. And so, as an option, I think that the barn toe is really nice. So, I want to talk about the ways that you can achieve a barn toe with your sock. And here's a sample of a toe that I've been working on. So, what I've done is I've staggered my decreases. So you can see this sort of curved line instead of just a slanting line that then ends straight across. What we have here is a curving line. And the curve is achieved by working your first decrease and then working three rounds, and then working another decrease and then working two rounds, and then working another decrease and working another two rounds. And then you work one round and a decrease, one round and a decrease, one round and a decrease, and then you start to decrease on every single round. So it staggers your toe shaping. And I want to just draw for you what that looks like, if I can. So the first decrease happens, and then you work three rounds. So this is the round that the decrease happens in. So there's one round, two rounds, three rounds, four rounds, and it's round two here that the decrease happens in. So then you work three more rounds and then another decrease. And then you work two more rounds and then a decrease, and then two more rounds. So the decrease is happening where the flat line is. Oh, that is so beautifully in focus there, isn't it? So the first one happens, the first decrease is at the beginning of your toe, and then you work one, two, three more rounds. And then you do a decrease, and then you work one, two more rounds. Then you work a decrease and you work one, two more rounds. And then you work a decrease and you work one more round. When you do that, so 1, 2, 3, one time, 1, 2, two times, and 1, 3 times. And then you work the decreases every round until you end up with 4 stitches. So however many you start with, this is the shaping of the side until you get to the point where you're decreasing on every round. So it's the third round after the first decrease once, after the second round after the first decrease twice, the next round after the decrease, so working with 1 round in between 3 times, and then every round until you end up with 4 stitches. When that happens, the shape of the top of your sock looks like this. And instead of doing a graft, what happens with this is you can cut your working yarn, thread a darning needle, and starting with the front or the instep stitches, you would go into each one of those. It's like finishing the top of a hat. You're just going to gather the stitches together. So here's what it looks like from the top. Got that little opening, and you just want to pull it super tight. You can go back through those stitches again if you want to kind of fill them up a little bit more. And then I push my needle in through that side and pull it into the inside. And the top of the toe of your sock is finished and it's more rounded, like the point of a barn. So it's not pointy. It has kind of a rounded top. And that gives a nice end to your toe. When you're weaving in your ends, in this case, you would go to the inside of it, and I would find a place to sort of weave in this end. So I would go along my shaping, splitting the yarn as I go to kind of secure it. So you can see there, I've just split these stitches that are running along the side of my shaping. Pull my yarn in. If you want to go back the way that you came, you can. I don't run it through the same exact spots, but I do kind of catch the inside of these stitches with my darning needle. When you feel that it's pretty much on the surface, it doesn't feel like it's extra thick there. And then you would cut it, leaving a little bit of a tail. And that's not going to come out. It's nice and secure. It's not bumpy. And that makes a really nice top of a sock. So that's what I'm going to do to the top of my amber sock. So here's my amber sock almost done. You see, I did some extra rows of the leg. I wanted these to be super cozy, and they are. And I proceeded with the pattern only on the top. And then since I started my toe shaping, I've discontinued the pattern. So I discontinued right after a round of the bobbles. I just thought that would be kind of fun. So that is it. If you want to do a regular shaping round for the sock, or any of the shaping rounds for this sock are going to be done with a knit one and then an SSK at the beginning of the round. So with one stitch of selvage, and then the next two stitches are SSK, and then you work to the last three stitches, knit two together, knit one. So that looks like this. So any of these decreases, in whatever order you decide to do your decreases, however many rounds you want in between your decreases, you're always going to work the first stitch as a regular knit, and then you're going to SSK. So to do that, I slipped two stitches one at a time knitwise, and then put my left needle into the fronts of those stitches. Here, I'll do it again just to do it a little slower. Put that back on the needle. Okay, so as I come to the next two stitches, I slip each one off knitwise. So I go into the stitch as though I were going to knit it one at a time and slip them over to my right needle. And I put the tip of my left needle just into the fronts of those two stitches so that my needles are crossed, wrap around the back needle, and that creates a left leaning decrease. Then I work to the last two stitches of my round, of this half of my round. I'm going to knit those two stitches together. So I'm going to go into the second one on the needle, knitwise, and slip it into both of the two stitches. Work them together as one. That makes a right leaning decrease. And you can see my decreases are pointing in. So that one's leaning toward, it's slanting to the left. This one is slanting to the right. When you do these kinds of decreases, I just want to point out, here's the first of my decreases. And what you can see where the decreases happen, here's a good place to look. Do you see how here's one stitch, that was my knit stitch, and then this is the stitch that's sitting on top of the other one. So you can see this stitch is coming underneath this one, and this stitch is coming out of both of them. So this is the round that I did my decrease in. This is the round before I did my decrease. So you can see the two stitches in the round before, and then you only see one stitch in the round that you did it. So this is how you can sort of keep track of your knitting, because when you are looking at the round with the decrease, I always think it looks like this. So this is the round before my decrease, and then my decrease looks like that. So then you would see 1, 2, 3 stitches on top of it. And then this would become the round where there's a decrease. for the next. So if we were doing the barn one, we would count 1, 2, 3, and then this becomes the fourth one here, but one, this is where we did our decrease, and then you worked 3 more rounds. The third round is the one that you will work the decrease from the next time. So then there will only be 2, and then that will have the decrease in it. So this one has 1, 2, 3. This one only has 1, 2. So you can see, sorry, this one has 1, 2, 3, and then you do the decrease, and that's the decrease round. And then there's 1, 2 on top of that, and then that becomes the round that you do the decrease in. So when you're looking down at your work, what you're looking for is this double stitch where they're joining together. That's what this is supposed to be showing. This double stitch. This double stitch here. And then this 1 stitch coming out of it. So 1, 2, and then there's 1 coming out of it. And then you can see this one is next to this one, and then there's a double stitch again, and then 1 coming out of it, and then a double stitch, because that's where I started to go smaller. So reading your knitting is a really important part of doing this side shaping. And especially on the SSK side, if you can look down and see, because the SSK side is the one that comes first. And the other thing to do is to be really careful or clear about which side you're starting on. So if you start on the instep side, then the instep side is going to be your first half, and the sole of the foot will be your second half. So make sure that you keep track of whether you started on the instep side or the sole of the foot side as you start your decreases. The amount of time it takes to do the toe of a sock is not very long. So really, if you can do it in one sitting, that makes for the best success in making the toes of your socks look the same. All right. So next month, we're going to be doing the Sokid sock, S-O-K-I-D sock by Laura Lee Beltman. I'll show you that. So I just wanted to show our next meeting is on April 7th, and we'll be doing the Sokid sock by Laura Lee Beltman. And that is a pattern for 550 on Ravelry. It hasn't been done by a ton of people, but it got great ratings, and it has this neat heel shaping, and I thought we would enjoy doing something a little bit different. So that is the plan for next time, and I hope that you'll enjoy that. Again, it's on Monday, April 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So thanks so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me through our email info@aroundthetableyarns.com or call the shop 216-230-9224 during working hours, which is 11 to 5, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and 10 to 6 on Tuesdays through Fridays. I hope you have a great month. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye-bye.